Sharp Game here, coming at you with another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com. Off of Love Can't Wait, which you can find on Amazon.com. And today I'm going to talk about the 3 types of toxic women to avoid dating at all costs. And, I think I've met probably every type of woman that you could probably imagine. And I say this not to brag, but just to tell you my level of experience and where I've been and the people I've met. And, you have to be able to spot certain types of people. That way you won't have to waste your time. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a good idea. But, I wish I knew this, what I'm about to tell you, 17 years ago. Because 17 years ago was a critical point just for my life, my livelihood. Because I was at a point where nothing was working. When I say nothing was working, I mean nothing was working in every facet of my life. Financially, nothing was working. Relationship, nothing was working. Family-wise, nothing was working. I mean, everything I tried to do, nothing worked. I had no success at anything. So I got to a point where it's like, I'm gonna just do what I feel is right for me. I'm gonna stop listening to everybody else. Or if I'm gonna listen to anybody else, it's gonna be somebody that's doing or have been to where I want to go. And that's what led me up to this point where I'm at today. I just listen to the people that got the wisdom, have the experience, and they're in a position or have achieved a position where I want to be in life. So I'm just giving the game. I'm just passing the torch, as they say. But when it comes to dealing with toxic women, I mean, if you really, God forbid, if you marry one of these types of women, there's a lot of different types of women. I'm going to just give you 3 today. But if you seriously get involved with any of these women that are trying to suck the blood out of you and pull you down like never before, you're going to be fucked up. And I used to be kind of naive when it comes to a lot of things because, if you believe in doing the right thing, that makes you naive to a certain extent because it's going to be hard for you to believe that some woman would even attempt to do some shit like that. Whatever it is. So, you know what I'm saying? But if you keep living, if you're in the 20s, assuming that you're in the early 20s or teens, you'll see what I'm talking about if you keep living. If you start meeting so many people, if you start traveling and all that shit. But one of the women that you should avoid is what I call the Captain Save-A-Hoe. You know that these types just, they screw up all the time and they want somebody to step in and, the pick up the tab where they made their mistakes. And, they pretty much, their whole life is predicated upon some guy paying for them to do some shit, or some guy paying the bills, or some guy that's catering to her every need. You see this with a lot of celebrities, a lot of athletes and entertainers. You'll have somebody like like Sierra. I don't know any of these people, by the way. Nothing against Sierra, but she's a entertainer, and she got married to Russell Wilson. Now, some people have said that she was with Future for however a couple years or whatever. She had a baby, and as soon as she was done with Future, Russell stepped in while she had the baby, and now he has to be daddy for another man's baby, and now she got pregnant for his baby. Now he's taking care of two babies, one that's his biologically, and the other one that's Future. Now some guys would say, "Hey, I don't want no piece of that shit," and I get it. I agree. I wouldn't have done that shit either. You know what I'm saying? But these types of women that, they screw up and they want somebody to come and pick up the tab. And so you see, you got to deal with all the bullshit that happened with the last guy that she screwed up, made a bad decision. So now, even though you don't have nothing to do with that, you might be a nice guy, but she expects you to do all this new shit that she's never done before, or maybe she probably don't even deserve none of this shit, but she feels like you should be obligated to do it anyway. And that's bullshit, in my opinion, But hey, don't save them. And then you got the other woman that got daddy issues. These types are kind of clever because they can kind of camouflage their relationship with their dad. It might take you months or even years to really figure out what type of relationship they had with their dad. But if you ask questions, or by any chance you meet some of her family, or you meet her parents, and if you ask enough questions, you figure out real quick, because these types of women, they tend to not read. They don't really see the value of friends and family, and they kind of don't. They just really don't care about people. You know what I'm saying? They you might be a thorough guy, you might be a good guy, but she really don't see the value in you on some levels, because as soon as you start not doing things that she likes, all of a sudden you go from the hero to the zero. All of a sudden you're the worst guy in the world. But they tend to be very dysfunctional, and it's hard to spot in the beginning, because on a deeper level, a lot of these women know that they're kind of lacking in a lot of areas of their life. So their whole strategy is to basically act like everything is perfect. You know what I'm saying? That's their whole. They don't really like talking about anything that's controversial, and if you start asking them too many questions, at least in their mind, that's how they're thinking. They tend to get very uncomfortable, and they tend to be very secretive, and they tend to want to hide a lot of things. And another thing I learned about a lot of these women with daddy issues is they kind of want to keep you at a certain distance. They want you to get close to them, but not that close. You know what I mean? It's kind of like they want you to be right at a certain distance, but only at their extent. But if you get aggressive and try to, somewhat play things the way you want to, they got a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? because they tend to be control freaks because they never saw, they don't understand the dynamic between males and females under the same roof. And they, they never had that growing up. Now, they don't necessarily, a woman doesn't necessarily have to have, the father doesn't necessarily have to have an influence in her life. It could be an uncle or somebody else. But if she never had that or seen that growing up as a kid, she won't know how a male and a female are supposed to interact with each other. She won't know how to act. She won't really know how to treat you. As a matter of fact, she might take your kindness for weakness because she doesn't really understand. And a lot of these women will drive your fucking ass nuts if you let her. Because most guys try to understand where they're coming from, but you can't do it because they're very irrational, and a lot of shit they tend to be very combative, and a lot of shit you say is gonna go in one ear and right out the other because she's never seen it. She doesn't really know what it looks like to have a mother and a father under the same roof in harmony together, making some shit happening and living a great life together. She doesn't really know how that shit look. I mean, the best illustration she might get is from a fucking movie or from a reality show or some shit like that. And a lot of that shit is not reality. It's far from reality. But she doesn't know. So avoid that type of woman. The one with the daddy issues. And the last one is women that fight. They got this battle with their exes. Maybe she used to be married, or maybe she had kids with a guy. Maybe they were together, living together for a long time, and now they broke up, and now they separated, or she's moved on, but they still got the kids, and she's always battling, trying to get extra money, and just trying to use the kids as leverage to manipulate the guy to get what he wants. You gotta be careful with these type of women. Because 9 times out of 10, she really hasn't really figured out that she want to leave the guy alone entirely with no strings attached or stay. Because 9 times out of 10, the guy that she had the kids with, they're still fucking every once in a while. Now, she's not going to tell you that or tell the new guy coming that because that's going to make her look like a hoe. You know what I'm saying? And plus, another thing you got to take into account. Now, if she's treating this guy that has her kid in such a way where she's manipulating him, using the kids as leverage, going in and out of the court system, to child support and all that shit. If she's treating him like that, how do you think she would treat you? That's something to think about. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to think like this. I used to think, that ain't me. I used to think like that. Just because she's treating him like that, that ain't me. That ain't gonna happen to me. Bullshit! I'm not special. Hey, I might be a pretty cool guy, pretty decent, down-to-earth dude or whatever, but I don't walk around thinking that I can't be touched. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at how she treats her ex-husband or boyfriend or whatever the hell he was that she had laid down and had kids with, and now she's trying to suck him dry by using the system. You got to think about that shit, man. And when you get involved with these women, as far as relationships, whether you get married to her or whatever the case is, you got to remember, you got to get involved with these women on your terms. And if you don't get involved with them on your terms, it's probably not going to work out very well. because at the end of the day, you're the prize. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be with a woman. You know what I'm saying? You're not on a clock. You don't have a certain amount of time to do shit. We don't really, guys, we don't really have to think about none of that shit. And us guys in today's climate, we're taking on more risk than women, because women have no incentive of being moral or behaving, because they know most of the laws are on their side. If shit goes bad, it's on this. The laws is on their side. They're going to win in the end, and this is why if you're a guy, you're taking most of the risk, because if it goes bad, you're probably going to lose. So this is why if you go into a serious relationship, a long-term relationship, do it on your terms, because if the relationship is based upon or on the woman, if the woman is coming in a relationship and the relationship is revolved around her, this is probably not going to last. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's more to life than just a woman or a man. You know what I'm saying? So if a woman comes into your life, you have to have your own life. And vice versa. She has to have her own life too. You can't let someone come in your life and she expects for you to take care of her, and you're supposed to be like her goddamn butler or some shit like that. Or you're supposed to be like her number one priority in the marriage or in the relationship. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? This is why most relationships don't work, because a lot of people are looking to get something. That's what they think. They think that you're supposed to put them on a pedestal or some shit like that. That they're special because of whatever. Because they're a woman, because they're from another country, because she's all kinds of bullshit reasons. Because she's from a better family, because she has more money and more assets, because she has a better job, because all kinds of bullshit, but don't fall for that shit. At the end of the day, you're the prize if you're a guy, because you're taking all of the risks, and if it goes bad, you're going to lose 9 times out of 10. I had an attorney to tell me that shit. So, hey, it is what it is. If you have any questions, leave your comments below. And until next time, subscribe to my channel, and check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.